friends, and welcome to Tikva. We will be carrying on our lessons on goal settings, and we will be discussing some of the things that we need to do to cut those big tasks into little bite-sized tasks to help us to achieve our bigger vision. So before we do that, I'd like to share a bit of an experience that I had with you. A few years ago, I was transferred to a department that I knew very little about, to be honest. And as head of that department, I was called into a meeting to explain why some of the one bit of the department was failing. When I went to that meeting, I had two options. I could give up that department and get the tests transferred elsewhere, or I could work on it. Well, you know me, I'll never give up on the first step. So I decided that I was going to work on it. To be honest, it was quite a big task for me because it meant that I needed to do quite a few things to make that possible, if I could make it possible. So what did I do? I decided to break this huge project, this overwhelming project, this big project into smaller tasks. And on those smaller tasks, break it into smaller tasks yet. And with every tiny task that I accomplished, I was able to overall complete the mission. So the first task I probably did was to say to myself, I need to understand what the problem was. I need to understand the test. So I decided to go right back down and learn everything I could from the test by working on the bench alongside other colleagues. Once I've done that, I decided to understand what was the problem. Why did we always fail? And that was a big task that I need to break into tiny tasks. So I did series of audits and series of learning journals to help us to understand why we kept failing at that bit. The next thing I probably did was to now bring in some mitigating factors or find some things that I could do to stop us from making the mistakes that we tend to make. Hence we failed. You get what I mean? And so that's what I did. I went off and I did that. The gist of the story is that no matter how big the vision or the mission is, no matter how big the project is, with simple goal-oriented tasks, with just achieving one thing a day, you can transform it. You can get your vision complete. Your mission can be complete. Many months down the line, I am happy to say that I have managed to transform that department. With the help of my colleagues, we have transformed the department. But that was not easy. It was only achievable because we decided to do one simple task a day. So in this lesson, I'd like us to explore some of the issues that we would have with goal setting. The first thing that will probably come to your mind is, this is overwhelming. I can't achieve it. So we're going to use an example in this class of someone who, for example, wants to own a clothing brand. Every single one of you right now, I'd like you to open your notebooks and write in there, for example, some of the steps that you think that you will take if you were going to open a clothing brand. And this exercise is just to help you to begin to think differently about how you can look at such a massive task and break into smaller tasks to help you to achieve the bigger picture. So we're going to explore that later on in the class. Another thing you probably want to know is that there's going to be one of the things that will stop you from actually setting out goals is the fear of failure. Yeah. You're so scared to fail. There's nothing wrong with getting it wrong the first time, even the second time or the third time. We can choose to look at failure as a good thing, or we can choose to look at failure as a bad thing. I know of a colleague of mine who for many years refused to go for interviews because she was so adamant she was going to make a fool of herself. But then she never grew, or she never transformed, or she never got any promotions because she stayed exactly where she was. So she went for the first interview after so much talking about it. And she failed that interview, or I wouldn't say failed the interview, I would say she didn't get the job on that occasion. Unfortunately, she never went back. I think this girl is a very, very good worker. She works with me and I think she's very capable. But our fear of failure has crippled her and stopped her from going on to the next level, which is quite sad. But on the positive note, there's another colleague of mine who recently got a new job this week. She has been working in the same department for 13 years and was unable to go and get herself in front of an interview panel because of the fear of failure. So there will be different times that you will be afraid to fail. Perhaps you're afraid of people laughing at your dreams. You're afraid of people saying to you, who do you think you are? You're afraid of people trying to belittle your dreams. There will be lots of people mocking you on this journey. But I will be one of those that will be celebrating you on this journey. I say we block out all the naysayers and go for it. After all, what do you have to lose? It's going to be okay. You are at this level now, and if you try your best and you don't get the next level right now, what have you lost? Actually, you've lost nothing. 1 add 1 is 2. 1 add 0 is still 1. If you're a 1, you remain a 1. You lose nothing. So the point of that is there will be different reasons, and there will be different people on this journey that will try to dissuade you. Do not be afraid of failure. By looking at your big tasks, breaking them into smaller tasks, you can achieve this dream. So going back to our exercise, I want you to write down some of the things that are going through your mind in your journal. If you were going to start a clothing brand, what are the kind of fears you would have? I'll tell you some of mine right now. I'm be afraid that somebody else is already doing it. I'll be afraid that I may not have what it takes. People may not even like my clothing. What if I buy this clothing and I try to sell it and nobody buys it? What if I put it on the internet and nobody likes it? What if I try to share with my friends and I get no likes at all? Yeah, I want you to think about those things. But do not be afraid of failing. Actually, use every opportunity as a learning opportunity. If you do fail, learn from it and fail forward. Learn from it and transform yourself. Next thing you need to know, you need to stay accountable in this journey of goal setting. I am very lucky to be part of a group, or part of quite a few groups, but this particular group meets on a Saturday to discuss our dreams or our goals. Everyone sets their own goals for the week, and on Saturday we come together to discuss if you've achieved them and how far you've gone on that journey. It is really important to be able to find friends of like minds that you can talk together and speak about the things that are going through your mind and the goals that you've set that week and the challenges you've had. In Tikva, we want to be that for you. If you let us, we will hold you accountable to the goals that you're going to set in the classes to come. By taking those small, tiny steps, you enable yourself to actually go for the big picture. So don't forget the few tips we talked about today. The first thing is that you will be overwhelmed. So do not be overwhelmed. The second thing is do not be afraid to fail. And the third thing is go with people that will hold you accountable, that will cheer you on. So thank you so much for joining us right now. So we're going to go to the activity class and we're going to explore some of the questions that I've raised in this class. See you soon.